So this happened about 5 years ago, when I was a graduate student in a small town in the Midwest. I had just moved into a new apartment, a cozy little place above an antique shop on Main Street. The rent was cheap, and the owner, an old man named Mr. Jenkins, seemed nice enough. He showed me around the apartment, pointing out the creaky floorboards and the old-fashioned radiators that clanked and groaned when they kicked in. At first, I loved the place. It was quiet, except for the occasional customer wandering into the antique shop below, and the smell of old books and dust wafting up through the vents was kind of comforting. But as the days went by, I started to notice strange things. Doors would be slightly ajar when I was sure I'd closed them, and I'd find little trinkets or knickknacks moved from their usual places. I chalked it up to the old building settling, or maybe Mr. Jenkins poking around when I was out. It wasn't until I started hearing the whispers that I got really freaked out. At first, they were just faint murmurs, like someone talking in the next room, but I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. I'd try to listen more closely, but as soon as I focused on the sound, it would stop. It was like my attention would scare it away. I started to feel like I was losing my mind, wondering if I was just imagining the whole thing. But then, one night, I woke up to the sound of my name being whispered. Emily, Emily. It was soft and raspy, like an old person's voice. I sat up in bed, my heart racing, and listened intently. The whispering stopped, and there was silence. I lay back down, trying to calm myself down, but I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. The next day, I decided to do some research on the building's history. I spent hours poring over old newspapers and town records at the local library, but I couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. The building had been a residence since the 1800s, and before that, it was a general store. Nothing seemed particularly unusual about it. But as I was digging through the archives, I stumbled upon an old diary belonging to a woman named Abigail. She had lived in the building back in the 1920s, and her diary was full of strange and disturbing entries. She wrote about hearing whispers and footsteps in the night, and seeing shadowy figures out of the corner of her eye. She became increasingly unhinged as the diary went on, writing about dark presences and malevolent spirits. I felt a chill run down my spine as I read through the diary. It was like Abigail was describing exactly what I was experiencing. I started to feel like I was being haunted by some kind of malevolent entity, and I didn't know how to make it stop. I tried to talk to Mr. Jenkins about it, but he just brushed it off. Old buildings like this one can be full of strange noises and creaks, he said. You'll get used to it. But I knew what I was hearing, and it wasn't just the building settling. One night, I decided to set up a recording device in my apartment, hoping to capture some evidence of the whispers. I placed it on the coffee table and went to bed, my ears straining to pick up any sound. The next morning, I played back the recording, and what I heard made my blood run cold. The whispers were loud and clear, and they were saying my name over and over again. But it wasn't just my name, they were saying other things, too. Get out while you still can, leave now, don't stay. It was like whatever was whispering was trying to warn me, to tell me to get out of the apartment before it was too late. I packed my bags that day and moved out of the apartment. I didn't bother to tell Mr. Jenkins, I just left. I didn't stop looking over my shoulder until I was miles away from that place. It's been 5 years now, and I still think about that apartment. I wonder if anyone else has moved in, and if they're experiencing the same strange occurrences. Sometimes, in the dead of night, I'll hear a faint whisper in my ear, and I'll freeze, my heart racing. It's always just my imagination, I tell myself. But deep down, I know it's not. The other day, I received a package in the mail with no return address. Inside, there was a small, antique music box with a note attached to it. The note said, "You should have listened." The music box was playing a faint, haunting melody, and as I wound it up, the whispers started again. This time, they were louder, more urgent. You should have listened, you should have left. I knew then that I'd never be able to escape the darkness that lurked in that apartment. It had followed me, and it would never let me go.